Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading and thank you for joining me. I'm really curious what's going to come up in your reading today because the energy, I felt it shift again just very recently. So this will be the first reading that I've done since the shift. Okay, so it's interesting that it's landing right with your reading, right with Sagittarius, because the energy that I'm feeling is like really, really expansive, like almost like there was like this momentum and now the momentum's rolling. Okay, so I'm curious how that's going to express, again, not being a coincidence that you're the reading that we're landing on, the collective, the Sagittarius collective that I'm reading for, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So let's see what comes up. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so you get two cards. First one, Life is Mystery, and the eagle spirit has your back. So yesterday, right around the time where I was feeling the shift, like right in the energy, and this is part of how I knew, part of like the spirit communication for me. I live out like, okay, so you know, in the desert, out in the middle of nowhere, and I hear this like this bird calling. I knew it was a bird of prey, you know, and I look up and there are these two eagles like diving and calling to each other. I've never seen anything like it, certainly not in real life. And so they're having this like mating dance, I guess, but I was just like, oh my God, you know, talk about like spirit talking to you. Okay, so the fact that this comes up in your reading today, I love it so much because I'm noticing that like as the energy shifts, whichever reading that I'm doing, or even things in my hologram, it's always related to, you know, because everything's connected, everything is a hologram, life is an oracle, you know, so it's like I'm bringing through messages for the collective through these signs, and it's like it just keeps weaving and weaving. So okay, life is a mystery and spirit has your back. So definitely what I'm feeling from this energy is there are things unfolding right now in our lives. I think this card is so interesting because it has like this really kind of like human face to it. Sometimes I don't like this card for that reason, but I really like it now because it's kind of like a shape-shifting energy in a way. I don't know if more's going to come up about that, but anyway, you know, life is a mystery, okay? So mysterious things unfolding, you know, but part of the divine plan. Again, it's like if we're shifting out of one energy and into another, which is what I feel this like whole, obviously Earth Trek is about, but the energies right now, the things that have been moving, it's like we're moving out of density into a lighter, higher vibrational life, energy, consciousness, way of manifesting, way of creating. It's like there's almost, and maybe this is what I'm feeling, it's like there's almost like a moment when the new kind of clicks into gear, but it's like kind of like a moment of surrender in a way where it, what do I want to say? I almost want to say, what's coming to me is like the gears slip, but that's not accurate because it's not a slipping of the gears. It's like the gears click into place, but it almost feels like a gear slips where you kind of like lose track of time. You lose track of the linear for a moment, and there's this mystery, this gallop. That was another thing that was coming when I was feeling into your energy. It was like, but your energy in particular, but true of the collective energy as well, galloping across the cosmos. That's what I was feeling. But this cosmic kind of like galloping, this cosmic hiccup. It's not a hiccup though. Something with these words. Okay, let's move into the tarot and see how it wants, what else it wants to say, how it wants to help bring this message through. That's kind of a lot of cards, but I'm going to go ahead and take them. Okay, so we get the call. There's the divine timing. This is very much what I'm feeling. This is divine timing, like things that were landing, things were in motion. The gears were coming together. There's again a clicking on where it's like the time is now. Time is now. The page of cups, okay, but it's like a new beginning, like we're just entering into this new passageway, entering into this these are highly collective readings. I mean, highly collective energies, but I feel like Sagittarius, you are on the cutting edge of it. Well, you are the edge. You are the edge, and you're like you're one that's willing to step in first. So this is what I'm feeling from this. It's like, you know, these are collective energies, these opportunities, these potentials are here for everyone, but it's really showing up in your reading, the cutting edge, because again, the collective that I'm reading for, it's like you're stepping in first. You're in the water. You're going first. This isn't just like, oh, it's just the beginning. It's like, this is the beginning for humanity. Okay, but here's Sagittarius in the water, stepping in. You heard the call, you're jumping in. You don't care that it's a mystery. You don't care that it's unknown, that you might not be safe, because Sagittarius pushes those edges. You push those boundaries. You push through those thresholds. So, doesn't matter to you that it's not a clear path, because you know that Spirit has your back. You know how to fly close to the sun. You know how to fly on the wings of faith, on the wings, because your goal is expansion. I mean, again, it might sound like cliche, but it's true. That is the that is the energy of the mutable fire element that is expressed through the sign of Sagittarius, through that configuration. So here you are, leaping into the unknown. Here's the call. The opportunity is there. You're taking it. Your feet are in the water. You're going first. You're pushing through these boundaries. Here are the walls. Here's the threshold. The threshold that, we've only ever gone this far. We've only ever gone this far. You know why? Because on the other side of the threshold, you don't know what it is, and that's scary for most people. That's not scary for you. You have that connection with ego, with the heights, with your higher self, with being able to feel and see beyond, to take that step through and past this threshold. Okay, and it comes out with the messenger of water. And I'm not really sure, I'm going to pull another card to clarify this, because there's like, I just feel there's more to this. There's more to this story. So let's get that. Now, the one thing that I am noticing, I think it's popping up at me, is there's a relational aspect to this. I mean, the Messenger of Cups can be a relational card, where it's a message of love, a message of, the heart, a message of whether it's, but because I'm noticing this, right, it is kind of relational. There's some kind of communication. Is this, anyway, let me just pull a card and see where this wants to go. See what this, there's a bit of more of a story here. What do we get? The Queen of Wands. Okay, there's our magnetic card. This is a new deck for me. I actually never saw this card. Look at her. Look at what she did. I'm going to show you in a minute, but look at what she did. She totally birthed this fire right out of her hand. It's like she has such magnetism and alignment that all of a sudden it's like poof, there's this light in her hand that wasn't there before. She didn't even know, that's how this was going to present for her. It's a surprise to her. Can you see? She's delighted. She's in full acceptance of this. She didn't know this was literally not just like landing in her hand, but like birthing from her hand. Like she did this from her magnetic power, from her alignment. She birthed something coming into her life. Okay, so I'm feeling like with this card, Sagittarius, there's something landing for you, something coming into your life, something that popped into your hologram. One, because it's time, but two, because you have the courage. It's just your nature. You have the courage to step forward, to cross through this threshold. Okay, so for the people that are still on the other side of this threshold, they don't get to experience this, because on the other side of this threshold is a whole new realm. It's a whole new realm. It's a higher timeline. It's it's your destiny. It's like the next part of the journey. We had to kind of play in this energy because we were doing the unraveling, we were doing the awakening. This was the only energy available to us. But now those that are hearing the call, that are willing to step through this threshold and to go through to the other side, are starting to experience life through a completely different set of rules, okay, where we literally manifest from the alignment within ourselves. This can also be a self-love card, where you're just like open to love. You're open to love because of the alignment that you have within yourself, because of the homecoming that you've achieved, the peace you've achieved in your own soul. You're not at war with yourself anymore. You're not playing out these patterns. You don't have to manifest in this energy anymore, because you're in a different energy. You're with yourself, and therefore your reflection can be a match to this rather than this, because you've stepped through this threshold. Your nature being this, your overall energy being this, you're not afraid to move through these things. Okay, so I'm recapping, but anyway, so here you are birthing something new in this new energy because of your self-alignment. But let's get a little bit more. There might be more that it wants to say about this messenger of water. I still kind of have my eye on it, because I'm not sure if that's the end of the story. Oh, this is funny how this card is okay, so we got the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so another page, another kind of like new earth-based path. Okay, this is kind of like the psychic realm. The waters of the psychic realm. So it's like, kind of like stepping into that higher frequency timeline, but here on the earth plane. You're at the very beginning of anchoring this down. Let me look at this card. This is a new one for me too. I like how kind of androgynous she is. Like she's it's just catching my eye. Like she's a female, but she first presented to me like a male. So, I mean, again, that kind of is reminding me of this kind of energy when we have our polarities balanced within us. We have our masculine and our feminine together within. We're able to create, because that is, you know, you need that balance of the polarities to have that creative energy, to be able to be a vessel and a channel for the higher energies, for the psychic energies to come in. So here it's like, you know, on the earth plane, you're perfectly positioned. You know, these are matched, they're both pages, so it's like, you know, they're lining up, you're lining up, you have the proper configuration within yourself to receive this energy. This is a new way of being, on the earth plane. But I feel like with this card, it's really highlighting that kind of like magical quality. I feel like what's being stressed in your reading, and again, coming up with this life is a mystery, which for me is presenting as like the unknown, you know, the unknown. It's like something that you kind of maybe didn't expect, or you didn't expect it in the form that it came, or in the time that it came. It's like it wasn't there and then it was. It wasn't there and then it was, and there's kind of a mystery to this. It's kind of a mystery, but you're like, wow, you know, okay, so it's like the realm, you know, the realm of miracles. There's like a miracle feeling to it, but that's how things move in this realm. So I feel like you, Sagittarius, you know, again, this message of like you're stepping first, you're in this energy first, so you're kind of serving to anchor this energy for humanity, because you are like a front runner. You are sort of forging the way, forging the path for others by being brave enough. Again, it's like it just keeps wanting to stress this, being brave enough to have that faith and that courage. Because what I'm seeing with these collective energies expressed through the sign is like we're almost getting a glimpse into like the different, again, the clockwork, the different parts that like each I want to say constellation, the constellation of your elements. So like if you chose to incarnate as a Sagittarius, as your sun, that's the energy that just kind of like infuses everything, you know. And then of course your moon sign does something different, and your rising does something different, but your main sort of like veil, I want to say, but veil kind of has the connotation of something that's in the way. Lens, the lens that you're looking through, being that expansive Sagittarius thing, is like you know, part of your mission therefore is to forge the way for humanity. So I'm seeing like all the different signs, the different elements, configuration, constellation within your birth chart, how expressed through the mission, you know, what you chose to come in, and how you're choosing to contribute during this time, this great shift of the ages. Okay, so you being that pushing the edge. Okay, I have Sagittarius Venus, so I understand this energy. I definitely want to be on the edge. I definitely want to like push that expansion. For me, like with Venus, it's kind of like relational in that way, relational. But okay, for you, it's like everywhere, right? In every part of your life. With the Sagittarius sun, you know, unless you're a moon or rising watching, then, you know, you can translate it as it is. But anyway, so that being your contribution to the shift, you have this as your nature. It covers everything that you do, okay? And then you step first, and as you step first, you get to experience these miracles first. These miracles, this what wasn't possible before, on the other side of this threshold in this old energy, you're experiencing. And the more, it's like, you know, that whole thing where like the runner, the guy that ran and he did this thing within 8 seconds, and then all of a sudden, you know, all these, I don't know the exact details, I don't remember facts well, but something like this, you know. Is it the 100th monkey? But, you know, it's like one person did it and then other people can do it, because then that exists now in the collective field. And when something exists in the collective field, it's been birthed, it's been creating, that potential has been landed, and then other people can easily catch it. Okay, but somebody has to go first. Somebody has to go on the other side. Like, this is reminding me very much this energy of this dream that I had once, where I was like, I found myself in this area. There was like this state park, and it was all demarcated, and, you know, there were like fences and stuff, and I found myself on the other side of the fence, and I was really kind of scared. I was like, oh crap, you know, like, and actually this was a time when I was going through all these thresholds, and I was having a lot of panic, and just, you know, I was just like, with the solar activity, I was like just pushing through all of these kind of things in my life, okay? all these kind of boundaries. And I had all this ego medicine come in for me, where it was basically like, you know, trust your badges, trust what you've earned in, you know, in your other lifetimes, trust what you've learned, trust the strength of your spirit, trust your power to like go through these, you know, these borders. And I really had to lean into, you know, that Sagittarian aspect of myself. Okay. And I did. What was my point? Oh, the dream. Okay. So this dream, I'm on the other side of this kind of fence, and I was in this boundary where it was very, very unknown, and I didn't know where I was, and I didn't know if I was safe, and I didn't know if it was okay, and I didn't know if I was allowed, because, you know, it's like society does, like all the structures in our world kind of corral us, and like, well, you're allowed to go here, and that's it. If you go out here, you're not going to be, you know, go on the other side, you might not be safe, and you might, you know, die, or you might hurt people, or you might be causing harm, and you better stay over here, and you better, you know, like run to the medical system and find out what's, you know, all these ways that we distance our power, okay, all these ways. And so my point in bringing this up is there are so many people trapped on the other side of this, you know, and that you, part of your service is to be that brave one that goes on the other side, that isn't afraid, and then experiences these miracles first and makes them possible for others, for other people to have that, because then it's not so unknown anymore. So like in my dream, nobody had ever been on that other side. I was the only one. So I didn't feel anybody else's energy over there. I didn't feel any kind of bridge to it. It's like nobody had been there. I was like the only energy I could feel was my own. But it's like for these other people that are stuck on this other side, they can feel your energy. They can feel that activity. They can feel that light, and it like creates a bridge for them to walk over. So that being very much part of your calling as well, your calling, your mission. Okay, so let's, hold on, I'm going to talk for 16 minutes. Let's get some more. See if this wants to say anything else, go in a different direction, tell us more, fallen on the floor. You know what, I'm just going to leave those. Am I going to get those? I'm going to get those, hold on. Okay. Okay, we get the Page of Cups again. Here it is again, but it comes across very differently than, oh, there are some other cards over here we're going to get to, because that's more of the story. Okay, so this is a big story. There's a whole new story coming up, but it's going to weave in. So this is a very different presentation. You know, here's this one that's in the water. It's like she's known this water before she's actually a mermaid, so it's not a big deal for her to step in. She's been there before. You know, she knows this water. This one is an offering. It's like and I guess this is kind of tying into what I was just talking about. You're offering to humanity, where it's like you've been in the waters, you've found this, you found this spark, you found this kind of magic, and now you're offering this to humanity. Okay, so I feel like this is tying in with mission work, with service, not just in it being your nature to kind of like in the behind, and kind of like, you know, the astral realms, you know, the etheric realms to create these bridges, you know, like all kind of invisible. This is an offering that's coming out. It's coming out in the physical. So tell us more about this. Let's see what these other cards are. Okay, so we get the Five of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and Temperance. Okay, so let me look at these a little bit through the camera there. I'll hold them up so you can see them too. Let's see what this wants to say. Well, first of all, I want to jump ahead to over here, because these are the cards that did not fall on the floor. Okay, all these cards fell on the floor, which, you know, I always read like how they fall and like what they're doing. First of all, I'm noticing, sorry, I'm all over the place. You can probably keep up your Sag. So notice how these faces are the same. They're both very concentrated. She has 2 cups. She has 1 cup. Okay, she's tempering these cups. She's done a lot of work. She's done a lot of alchemy behind this. Is what I was talking about. This kind of energy behind the scenes. This is that where she's doing this kind of alchemy within herself. She's preparing things. She's getting it ready. Okay. I had another dream once. I share dreams because there's codes in dreams. So like when we share our dreams, like whether the person, like whether, you know, whether it lands linearly or not, there's codes in them. It's kind of like another card, you know, where it's like, so that's why I share, because there's something in us that recognizes it activates things, the codes. So anyway, I had these 2 geodes, and I was pouring water back and forth, and I was standing by my washer, which I think is also significant because it's like a cleansing, right? I was cleansing. I was pouring these geodes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it's like I just was so in the moment doing this, just like her. You know, there's just like nothing else to do, and then all of a sudden it's like I just knew it was done. It was just done. Like I had done that tempering, that temperance. I had completed completed the alchemy, whatever it was I was doing, okay? And then the dream shifted, but that's how it is here. It's like you did this, and then it completed, and now there's an offering, okay? There's an offering. However, it's coming out with the Queen of Swords. Still going to get to those other two cards in a minute. It's coming out with the Queen of Swords and the Five of Swords. Okay, so I feel like I feel like the reason why these fell on the floor, I feel like the message with this is sort of like behind, okay? This isn't what's visible. This isn't what's on the table. It's not what's presenting, visibly. This is kind of what was going on behind the scenes. And so, you're doing this temperance, okay? Part of the temperance is boundaries. Part of the temperance is discerning what needs to stay and what needs to go. And that's what you've been, I feel this is what this is saying. That's what you, in the past, could be recent past, could be a long stretched out version of past, the same lesson over and over again, okay? I'm going to jump ahead to the ones that were on the table for just a minute. I'm going to get back to that. It's life renewed. This is the judgment, okay? And the victory card, the Six of Wands. So it's like you're in a new space now. So just to verify again, this is the new energy. This is the new energy that you're in. It's like it was time, the call. Okay. This is very interesting, actually. I didn't even notice this. This is the same card. This one is called Life Renewed, and this one is called the Call. But in the traditional tarot, they're both a judgment card, okay? So here's the timing, the divine timing when this was meant to happen, and the victory. So you're in a new part of your mission, like what I was talking about. Part of your mission, your soul signature that you're here broadcasting just by the nature of the configuration you chose to take on in this lifetime. You have that expansiveness. That's what you're offering to the world. But up until this point of when this victory and this kind of like change happened, the mission and the contribution was very behind the scenes. It was very behind the scenes. And so you were doing this work of tempering, in like we said, when this energy was dominating, then you had to work with it. You had to work within this frequency. So a lot of your work and your focus was around, kind of like tempering the old energy, tempering within the old energy. So here's the Five of Swords. This is the card of like competition, of like you don't want to get hurt, so you're hypervigilant about not getting hurt, but you also don't want to hurt others. There's a lot of like conflict, inner conflict. Okay, so this path up until this point being one of deciphering out, because she's the discerning one, deciphering out what goes and what stays. Okay, what goes and what stays, and then like weeding out, what do I want, what do I not want, who do I want to let in, how much do I want to let them in, and this is kind of a theme right now, like that kind of cleanup, that kind of cleanup that some people are still doing, but I feel like for you this is very much what was in the past, okay? What was in the past in this new energy. I feel like recently you've crossed another threshold. You're always crossing thresholds. I feel like recently you've crossed another one, with the overall energies being this. It's like you're on the other side, and you're experiencing a victory over this kind of energy. I feel like you've done this for a really long time. Maybe you just completed another one. You've crossed another threshold, like I said. But this was sort of like the general energy that you were in. A lot of your expansion and your focus and your discernment was around, just kind of like cleaning up, balancing everything out. Okay, and now you've done that. This change has happened, and now you're offering something forward. This card can actually be an offering as well. It's a small offering. It's the beginning of an offering. Water can be relational, emotional. Maybe there is a new relationship coming in for you. But again, it would be a reflection. It would be a reflection of a shift and a change and an alignment within you. But I'm feeling that because so much is coming up about kind of like mission and your service, that this is an offering that you're giving, a small offering. You're beginning to give a new offering to humanity. Okay, again, because you're experiencing this magic first and you're understanding it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull another card. I know this is getting kind of long, but I just want to have a little bit. I feel like there's just like something else that hasn't been said yet. That's like on the tip of the energy. So let's just see if we can draw that out. Let's see if we can draw that out, even if it's just a conclusion. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah. Okay. So we get wisdom. we get wisdom, and the other card that came out that I accidentally put back in, so we're just going to trust that put back in, but it was forgiveness, okay? Wisdom and forgiveness. So this is kind of like the old energy, you know, the old energy where you, like, you know, when you're in the new energy, there's nothing to forgive, and there's nothing to forgive because everything kind of collapses into oneness, and there's that wisdom where, you know, in the higher energies, on the higher timeline, it's like you can see that everything that you did over here, you know, in this sort of preparatory phase was preparatory. It was how you did that temperance, and how you kind of like marinated your soul to be able to give this offering, okay? And now this offering, I feel like this is kind of like answering, right? There's a lot of wisdom that you have to impart because, one, you've touched the miracles, you've touched the other side, you've flown to the heights, just like Icarus, but you didn't burn up. You didn't, because you know how to work those edges. You know how to go like right up to the sun, but not get burned. You know how to do it. It's just part of your nature. Okay, so you're now bringing back, and you're offering to humanity the wisdom of what you've attained on the other side of those edges. So that kind of being summary, kind of being like, okay, this was the old game. This is what you're working on for a really long time. You know, you were working on discerning and cleaning up. That creating an opportunity to cross over a new threshold, which you've crossed over, and on this other side. And, you know, this kind of pairs up with this too, you know, even the colors with this, you know, life is a mystery, and yet, yeah, it's the Sphinx, right? There's like this Sphinx. I know it's a bobcat, but it's just kind of a similar energy for me. It's like this one has secrets. So in a sense, it's like life is a mystery to a double meaning. Life is a mystery to these people over here, these people on the other side of the threshold. They don't have this wisdom that you have. They haven't received, once you cross over and you start experiencing life from the rules on the other side of the threshold, you gain access to this. It's like, this is a wisdom keeper. This one has secrets. You are this one that has these secrets. And now you're imparting that wisdom to others as part of your offering, because of what you've seen, because of what you've done, because of all the work that you've done, climbing your way, and weaving and alchemizing and discerning and choosing. And, you know, it's like, again, this is a discernment card when you're flying close to the sun too. You know when to pull back your energy. You know when to push it, and you know when to pull it back. Like maybe you've been burned a lot with this, but you've learned, you've tempered that, you know, and you've won access into this other side, okay? But really stressing, I feel like we're ending on really stressing what you're offering to humanity. So I have this sort of feeling that there's a lot coming up for a lot of us around mission work and around offering and around, which then creates a whole other set of boundaries. Okay, so it'll be interesting what your next reading is talking about, but I feel like this is like the beginning of the next story, where there is this sort of stepping forward in a new way now that you've done this, landing on this. You know, right now the emphasis is on, you've crossed this border, you're seeing these miracles, you're seeing things other people aren't doing. There's a service in that behind the scenes, but there's about to be a service in that, more physically, more seen, something in the world, something that's being anchored, you know, for you. So, and you might have hints of that already. You might know that that's coming. That might already be in the works for you, or it might be something that you've been sensing as well. And if so, then there's a validation for that. I'm going to get one last card, just a summary card. Hopefully it doesn't take us in a whole other direction. Okay. Let's see what that was. Leadership. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that's just validating that as well. Leadership. You're in a leadership role. You're coming into a leadership role. Oh, it's a stag. It's a stag spirit. That's cool. Yep, taking the lead. Yes, taking the lead, going first. There it is again. You went first. You went first. It's your nature to go first. It's your nature to lead. You went first across the threshold. You went first across the threshold. You went first to experience the magic and the miracles, and now you're leading the way. You're leading the way in both the sort of invisible, you know, fall on the floor, might not even pick up the cards because you're too lazy to get them type. Not you, but you know what I mean? Me being too lazy, right? The symbolism in that, like, it's like that's almost hidden. You know, somebody, we might not have even seen these cards, but it's like, we did see these cards. I picked them up. So it's like, not these cards, sorry, these ones where you were doing the alchemy and you were in that kind of denser energy. Okay, that's what you were doing behind the scenes, the behind the scenes service. But now What really wants to be seen is this life renewed, this call, this victory. This victory is now inviting you into center stage, where you're leading the way and you're imparting wisdom to others. You're bringing forward that cup that you've found and you've earned, but you've also cultivated. You cultivated this cup. You cultivated this cup through your own process, through your own journey, through your own inner discernment, inner choices, efforts, moving, alchemies. Okay, so this being your offering to humanity, leading the way. So beautiful message, and again, I look forward to seeing what comes up next time, if it's a continuation of this story or not. And I'd love to hear if that resonated for you. And thank you for joining me. And thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for thank you for who you are, for your spirit, for your courage, for your expansion, and for expanding life, for expanding what's possible, and bringing those potentials down as only you can. So anyway, honoring you. And I'll see you next time if I do. Okay, bye.